Vindication is in the air, and I have a song in my heart, although it's not one off of Mania. Hey neighbor, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John, and this is a fascinating story that's come out because it's something that I've kind of theorized for a while, but now it's been put in stone. Joe Trohman is the lead guitarist and co-founder of the band Fall Out Boy, hailing from Chicago and putting out some classic records in their early days. They went on hiatus around 2009, they put out Believers Never Die, a greatest hits compilation, and then they came back in 2013 with an album called Save Rock and Roll. And say what you will about that, it's a far cry from what they became by 2018's Mania. I've talked about this album at length on both of my channels over the years, and the TLDR is that I find it extremely disappointing, at times downright bad, and a lot of that had to do with the production, and also, again, me kind of conspiring and saying, I wonder if all of the band members are on board for this direction. Well, it turns out they're actually not, because Joe Trohman has his book coming out. It's a rock and roll memoir. It's from the mind of Joe Trohman. I'm gonna put a link to some resources that'll also include a link to his book if you want to check that out. There seems to be some really interesting stories packed in there just based on what I've seen in the Rolling Stone interview preview. The biggest truth bomb he's dropped so far has to do with Fall Out Boy, his time in the band, and how the recent years haven't exactly been as collaborative, or as hands-on, or as instrumentally based as he would like. Let me show you guys some of the small snippets from this interview that seem to be very revealing as far as his thoughts on Mania and some of their recent progress within Fall Out Boy. He said, "I'm gonna extricate myself from this. This is not what I want to do. When you have some stuff together, give it to me," referring to Mania demos. "If you want to throw some ideas on there, whatever, I'll do it in my recording studio." And I did that a little bit, but overall, I stayed pretty much out of it, more or less. That right there, to me, is a major red flag. Like, it gives me Blink-182 Neighborhoods vibes, and while I love that album, I don't like the way that it was created with band members playing in different rooms, different studios. It just wasn't working out, and I feel like in some ways, if you don't have a really tight relationship, the distance can cause caveats within the material to start falling apart. Mania has some cool ideas and interesting stuff in there, but it didn't work as well, and I can't say I love it. That's what leads me, hopefully, to go back to making a record with guitars, bass, drums, vocal. What can I say? I love me a guitarist that, actually gets to play his guitar. Time and time again, I've made my criticism of Fall Out Boy's newer material clear. It seems like it's motivated by commercialism, by wanting to have a big hit single, by it being involved in a soundtrack or a trailer, or it's in a video game, and it seems like they're pulling themselves in all of these monetarily incentivized directions, and it can start to pull apart the fabric of the band itself if you go too far down that lane. Joe went on to say, "I love synthesizers that we play. We can play music, let's play the music, let's not go for samples." This times 1,000. They are a four-piece band that at times sound like a solo project on some of the newer stuff, in particular Mania for sure. Multiple times, both in the track reviews leading up to it and for my album review for Mania itself, I noted that Joe Trohman has to be bored just standing there on stage. I mean, imagine going out and Champion is the song that you're gonna play, and you're like, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. One of my favorite things he said was, "Let's not try to reach for singles. At this point, we've had so many hit singles. Do we really even need to reach for singles anymore? I think we should just make a cool record." You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear those words, Joe Trohman, because it's so painfully true, but it felt like I was taking crazy pills, because I get it, the fans want to be supportive of a new direction, but where the fuck were you for Folie à Deux? Joe went on to note that hatred that was felt towards Folie à Deux, and it was unfortunately real. And as somebody who was gifted this, I believe, for my 17th birthday, it must have been my 17th birthday I got that CD, I was in love with it almost immediately. and back then I didn't think as much about bands changing their sound, especially if it was in a way that kind of made sense, and I think that more soulful take on like pop punk, alternative, rock, and everything else they were into at the time, it was cool, unlike them coming back post-hiatus and trying to collab with rappers, everybody else that could give them a little bit of clout. Fully Ado was genuine, but that record, as Joe himself says, the whole thing was so fucked up, people hated it, we had pushed so far creatively that our fans at the time felt that we had abandoned the sound of Fall Out Boy. Okay, but like, are these the same fans that heard Save Rock and Roll, American Beauty, American Psycho, and Mania, and said, you know what, all of that just S tier, gold tier status, but Fully Ado? Fuck out of here. Fully Ado and Mania side by side sound like they were made by an extremely talented band and something that was slopped together rather quickly. And Mania was even delayed by a significant chunk of time for them to perfect the sound and continue working on it. And it seems like every decision that Pete and Patrick were making was kind of undermining the overall integrity of Fall Out Boy as a whole, and also the songs. I mean, there's a video out there of Patrick Stump breaking down for Rolling Stone again their song Church, and he talks about the original vocals and the lyrics that were about his father. They pulled out all of the heart and they gave us whatever they shit out on the actual album.
In my original demo, the verse was just wrong.
Life goes by so fast, you blink and you miss it, but all of my friends get messed up to make it go quicker. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I guess I'm just like my father after all.
You thought it ended there? It actually gets a little bit more infuriating, because Trohman also revealed that Fall Out Boy had recently been working on some more rock and guitar focused sounds. That's what Joe wants. He wants to push forward with that type of music. That's what I'm foaming at the mouth for, but not in a way that like retreads the past. As he noted himself, they don't want Fall Out Boy to go back to that 2005 Fall Out Boy sound and recreate it. They want to do something new with rock and their roots and embrace that, but apparently the songs all got like shelved, put on the back burner, and this has happened multiple times within Fall Out Boy. And if I were Joe and Andy, I feel like the door and the exit would just start to look more and more tempting. What we can take away from this situation, especially if some of you guys watching this are in a band yourselves, make sure that you're surrounded by people who actually want to hear your ideas out and that you're going to be on the same page with them. Obviously, there's going to be disagreements. There's natural pushback. But when a band time and time again undermines their own integrity and in some ways kind of tarnishes their own legacy, it's sad to see, and I feel bad for the band members that get caught in the crossfire of just wanting to make a rock record or whatever type of album it is, but the other members are like, but no, we actually need that single for the Forza Horizon 17 soundtrack. What did you think about Mania? Has it gotten worse with time? Has it just kind of sat there unlistened to? Let me know, hit the like button, and check out some more of my Fall Out Boy videos on screen now.